Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection Volume 1. First released March of 2021. Available on Nintendo Switch and PC platforms. Retailing for $39.99. This is a collection of 10 Neo Geo Pocket Color games. And given that the North American library for this handheld only had 31 games, having 10 of them in this collection is a fairly significant amount. It is worth noting that the Switch and PC versions are slightly different, not in terms of presentation or options, but rather they have 9 games in common, with each one having an exclusive 10th game. The 9 in common are SNK Gals Fighters, Samurai Showdown 2, King of Fighters R2, The Last Blade Beyond the Destiny, Fatal Fury First Contact, Metal Slug First Mission, Metal Slug Second Mission, Dark Arms Beastbuster 1999, and Big Golf Tournament. The PC version exclusively gets Crush Roller, and the Switch version exclusively gets SNK vs. Capcom, the Match of the Millennium, which unfortunately I don't have footage of, as I am working with the PC version. You will notice that many of these are sort of demake titles of games from the Neo Geo, which is entirely intentional, as the Neo Geo Pocket was very much meant to be a Game Boy for the Neo Geo proper, where you would play games that were very much based off of the games on the bigger hardware, but a bit smaller and a bit simpler. And that is in no way a bad thing. Regardless of which version of this collection you play, you will notice it's very fighter-heavy. And while there are certain similarities between the fighters on offer here, they do manage to stand out from one another, at least to a certain extent, and they all are recognizable as the franchise they represent. It was actually surprising going through this collection and realizing that I couldn't play all of the fighting games in quite the same way. Despite only having 2 buttons to work with, each one manages to play just differently enough that you truly need to switch gears between games. The same can be said for the 2 Metal Slug games on offer here, as one of them treated the option button as your grenade button. The other one used the option button to switch to your grenades, which on paper sounds like a very small change. In terms of actual gameplay, it makes a huge difference in how you play. Dark Arms is the sole RPG in this collection, and truthfully I was surprised there was an RPG for the Neo Geo Pocket. It's an action RPG, and actually a surprisingly good one, and I keep coming back to it. I'm using the PC version of this collection, so I had Crush Roller, which is a maze game where you try to fill in the whole maze with your color, like a weird demake of Splatoon. It is surprisingly addictive. Lastly, we have Big Golf Tournament. I know absolutely nothing about golf and cannot pretend to care about it, but it's here if you like golf, and I guess is the only sports game in this collection. Golf is technically a sport, right? So is Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection Volume 1 worth your time and money? Well, it's a collection of 10 games, and they all are very solid games. Out of the 10 on offer here, I got a great deal of enjoyment out of 9 of these games. And the one I didn't care about, Big Golf Tournament, I can tell is a well-made game. It's just not for me. $40 seems a bit high for this collection, but then I think about it as being $4 for each of the games on offer. And truthfully, I think every game here is worth more than $4. My only real complaint with this collection is there's not really a way to replicate the feeling of playing on a Neo Geo Pocket Color. If you've never actually used one, they have a very distinct, clicky little semi-stick, semi-D-pad they use. And to my knowledge, there are no modern controllers available that have anything like that. So for the time being, we can't really fully replicate the Neo Geo Pocket experience. But this collection is definitely worth your time and money. If you are completely unfamiliar with Neo Geo Pocket, just think of these as alternate universe Game Boy games. Please do subscribe, comment, like, and tell your friends.